Hello everyone, I'm Uzioma Onukogo and I'll be taking you on Token Economics 101, your ultimate guide to launching a great project. This is an interactive course that will help you to understand how to use crypto economies and token economies to design and build a product successfully for your project, specifically a token for your project. It's going to be in four phases, and we are going to have four different modules that encapsulate the whole course. The first part will be talking about money and economies, and second part, fungible tokens and NFTs, and the third part will focus on token design, and in the fourth part will take you through applying all that you've learned into a creative project. Quite interesting, right? Yes, it is. My name is Uzioma Onukogu, like I've mentioned, but I'm also Wildflower. I'm a product analyst, a blockchain consultant, and I'm the founder of BookQuest Africa, Rubicon Games, and Mino Creatives. There are some interesting points about me that I feel some kind of way to share, but hopefully it will make everyone realize that we still have things that we are working on, each and every one of us. So I love to dance. I love to sing and discover new talents with YouTube Music. Is my favorite app at the moment. I'm a movie junkie and I'm a bookish nerd. I love to read when life and adulthood affords me the time to read. My not so good side is that I have really high anxiety. I'm an overthinker. Did I mention that I am an overthinker? But then sometimes I talk slowly because I'm trying to think about the words that I have to say. So you have to bear with me. If you find me derailing, I'll bring myself back and discuss. Right. So you can find me on Medium, on Hashnote, on LinkedIn, on Instagram and Discord. I've been really liking Twitter and Discord these days, and these are the major places you're going to see me anytime, any day if you want to reach out to me. As always, on this channel, or on all of these channels, I am wildflower.eth. So you should not have any problem finding me on any of this platform. Our first course is money and economics. And it's going to take you through the overview of money and economics. And then the second course is tokens and NFTs. Our third course, our third module is designing tokenized system. And then our fourth module, you go through creating your own NFT or your own token for your app project. So this is a very introductory course to token economics and crypto economics. Like I said, is by no means expansive or exhaustive. So there's so much more happening in this space, and you can't really put all of this in a 4-hour course, but we are trying to make it fun. And with this course, you should know and have introductory knowledge to talk about tokenomics wherever you find yourself. The goal of this course is to help you to gain enough insight to apply the principles of crypto economics and the principles of token economics to design your own project. So, shall we begin?
We don't need your money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money.
This is one of my favorite songs. If you were around in the 2010s, this is a very popular song by Jessie J. And it seems like for that song, it's saying that money is not important, we just want to make everyone happy. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, money is very, very important. It's actually all about the money as opposed to what Jessica said. And it's very important that you understand where we're coming from so that you can always point back to this. Money is very important. Money is a key driver of the world, and a lot of things that we do tie into this. We're going to come back to this, but just remember that it's actually all about the money. And we are going to use different things to talk about money in this course, so just keep that in mind. Our first class an expansive dive into the world of money and economy and why money is actually important in the world today. In this course, you're going to get the brief history of money, brief history of the economies of the world, and we're going to dive into the crypto banks. We'll understand what crypto economics is, why it's different from fiat economy, and then we'll go through some reflective questions that will help us really understand what we've done. Then we'll have a model summary that will take us through everything we have learned during this course, and then take action. Take action is just a simple go back assignment that you get that can help you to study more and really understand what we discussed about this course. So, shall we dive in? I really enjoy talking about core concepts and how well we understand this term. So you can pause a bit here, take your time, you can pause this video. I'm going to give you a few seconds of reflection. Look at this core concept or these terms that I've mentioned here and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. How well do you understand money? Yes, money seems to be some sort of simple term that everybody knows, but how well do you understand money? How well do you understand cryptocurrency? How well do you understand economics? How well do you understand blockchain? And how well do you understand markets? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to reach yourself on all of this, and we're going to come back. Well, I hope you really took your time out to grade yourself and be very honest with yourself, because it's okay if you don't understand all of them or what they all mean. We are going to be seeing these concepts quite regularly in the whole discussion and in this whole topic, so take note of them. Once upon a time, there was a time in the world where we use cows for transactions and for trade. This means that cows were valuable and they were seen as something that represented a specific amount of money and value. But not just cows, but animals. We use agricultural produce like maize, rice, and things to exchange value, right? And there was a time that we did this. When you look at all of this, what do they have in common? I'm going to give you another 5 seconds to pause and think about all of this. Of course, all of these at one time or the other were seen as money. So this is a brief evolution of money as we've seen it all up in the coming years. At some point, it was agricultural produce that were seen as money. We quickly transitioned to cowries and coins, and then we moved to gold bars. Gold bars were quite interesting because they were very valuable and are still valuable up to this time. So oftentimes we wonder why gold is not still used as a means of exchange popularly as it was before. And then during a period of time where they had kings and rulership, quickly moved to a certificate of ownership. Back then, people with a large amount of money would take this money to the bank, and they would ask the bank owners, the bank managers to keep their money for them and save their money for them. For that, they will give the bank manager a fee for saving their money or securing their money for them. And in return, the bank managers will give them a certificate of ownership or a representation on paper that showed that they owe or they have this amount of gold with the banks. Now, whenever these people needed their gold back or whenever they wanted the gold to buy one thing or the other, all they had to do was come back to the bank with this certificate of ownership, right? This certificate of ownership quickly transitioned into fiat currency. Fiat currency is a popular name we use in the cryptocurrency space to describe money that is authorized by a government, money that is recognized and authorized by a government, just like back then when banks would have some sort of certificate of ownership that they create and they recognize. Fiat currency was created and recognized by countries from the world. So this is what's transitioned into the dollars, the euro, the naira, the cedis, and different types of fiat currency that we have today. Right now, dollars, fiat, and fiat currency that we see all over the world are recognized by the countries and they're internationally recognized exchange of value. And after that, it quickly moved on to Bitcoin. It's quite interesting how Bitcoin came in play here. We're also going to talk more about Bitcoin, its relevance, its importance, and why it was necessary to come. But keep in mind that all of these at one point or the other were seen as money because they all had value. Another important thing you have to know about money is that it has to be a consensual agreement. That means it has to be universally recognized as an exchange of value. At some point in the world, cows and agricultural produce were recognized as an exchange of value, but no longer is. Right now, the fiat currency or the dollars of or the currency of a country is what is recognized. It needs to be recognized and acknowledged as a currency before it can be widely used and accepted. Now, moving from money is economies. Right. Economy is the distribution and the interaction of different resources and how they interact with one another. You can see that each of these are country flags. We have the United States of America, we have Nigeria, we have Kenya, and we have Canada. And each of these countries have an economy of their own. They have a particular way in which they manage and distribute the resources that is produced in that country to bring in more wealth and bring in the healthy standard of living for their citizens. Let's take, for example, Nigeria, the country where I'm from. You find out that our country is heavily dependent on fuel and crude oil. This means that a lot of what we do, or fuel and crude oil, will determine a lot of prices of the things we do. So it's very not decentralized. It's really focused on very few things. So a country like Nigeria, the economics of Nigeria is produce a lot of crude, be able to sell it at international market at high price, bring it back and try to benefit the society or your citizens' life like that, right? So what each country have done is that rather than trying to produce everything at once, each country has now have like some sort of monopoly. Each country try to be the best at what they do. Kenyans, they have lots of beautiful tea and they produce a lot of coffee in the country. And so they can be able to trade this coffee and this cash crop in international markets and gain a lot of money in return, right? So each of these countries are maximizing their own skills, they are maximizing their own resources to have a strong economy. You have to remember this. When these countries trade amongst themselves, they use money as the vehicle. So economies is not just basically the economy of one country, it's also the economy of the world and how they interact with each other. Money is the vehicle that makes trade easier for say between Kenya and United States or Canada and Nigeria. If Nigerians wanted to trade or get say get maple syrup from Kenya, we don't have to, and we don't need maple syrup. We don't have to get Canada's maple syrup or Canada's really lucrative, beautiful wood in exchange for our crude. Canada can pay us through money and get our crude. Same thing for Kenya and United States. So money is simply just the driver. Money is simply what makes it easier for countries and people to communicate, and economics is the distribution of these resources among countries and among societies to make trade easier and better. Cryptoverse is quite interesting. Into the Cryptoverse reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse, a new world, a really exciting world that expands to just more than what we have currently. And remember, we talked about Bitcoin. Here, I'm going to show you and talk about why it was important for Bitcoin to come into place and cryptocurrency in general to come into place. Now, remember we talked about the economies of the world and how each country try to interact with each other. But there are challenges they face while interacting with each other or while they are transacting with each other. For example, the if I want to trade or I want to get something from the United States of America, I need to have dollars for me to be able to exchange and buy something for the United States of America. But remember that I am Nigerian and I hold Naira. So that trade is impossible because we do not accept the same type of money, even though they are the same representation of value. So I have to figure out a way to exchange my Naira for United States dollar for me to be able to get what I want to buy from the United States of America. These are one of the challenges that you face or people face when they are trading, right? And this was the reason why cryptocurrency was important. Cryptocurrency is a new way to trade using digital money that is decentralized, permissionless, and do not need a third party to record or verify a transaction. It's very important that you understand these major aspects or these major terms that are being used here. First, digital money. Digital money is money that is recognized but operates digitally. So it cannot be held or touched, but is a virtual kind of money that is operated digitally. Decentralized. Decentralization relates to a part that it is spread across and not just fixed to one particular person, right? For example, each of these economies of the world we mentioned, they need to have like a central bank, right? A bank that ensures that when this trade happens, the money gets into the central bank first, and then the money is redistributed back into the economy. Used to pay teachers, used to pay workers, used to pay salaries and things like that. In the cryptoverse, there is no one central institution that is responsible for collecting all the monies need. Permissionless. For trade to happen between country, it has to be approved and acknowledged. Sometimes even the trade that happens between individuals have to be approved and acknowledged by countries before it happens. These are some of the bottleneck that occurs in a fiat currency. But cryptocurrency and the cryptoverse relates to the crypto world, does not require that. And then, as we talked about, third party, when each of these countries trade within themselves, let's say Nigeria and Kenya trades, and Kenya, the government of Kenya sends, let's say, coffee to Nigeria, and the government of Nigeria sends crude to Kenya. There has to be an acknowledgement. There has to be an external third party that ensures that both parties are, you know, comfortable with the trade that has happened. If Nigeria demanded for 5 trillion tons of coffee, they have to make sure that they have received it before the crude is sent to Kenya. And the Kenyan government also has to approve that they have gotten the right amount of crude that they want. So there has to be a third party that checks that both parties in the trade or in the transaction occurs, and that third party is paid for doing this transaction. But in the cryptoverse, this is not required. So cryptocurrency allows trade to happen seamlessly and globally between countries. Remember the analogy I gave about buying something in the United States and not being able to pay because the person in United States, let's say that an Amazon seller, requires me to pay in United States dollar, which I do not have. But with cryptocurrency, let's say BTC or Bitcoin, I can pay to them and they can receive it and also transact in Bitcoin. It is permissionless, it is global, it is decentralized. Another important part is the financial equality it brings. A lot of people are removed from financial inclusion, do not have financial inclusion because they do not have banks, they do not have a means to interact with all of these major institutions. For example, I need to get dollars for me to trade in the United States of America. I need to go to a banking system and get that, and that might be scarce or very difficult for me here in Nigeria. But with cryptocurrency, you can do this free of charge without no issues. Those are like the very important things and the very important reasons why cryptocurrency came in and why Bitcoin had to exist. We dive into the next thing, that is crypto economies. Remember, we talked about economy and society. We talked about how every society needs to have its own economy surrounding it. Every society is bound by its own rules, its own regulation, and sometimes societies are geographical locations bounded by lands and boundaries and stuff. When societies are bounded by locations, we call them countries, right? Societies that are big enough to have their own economies are called countries. So we have the United States, Nigeria, Canada, and Kenya. These are societies that are large enough to have their own individual or specific economy. Same thing with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has its own sort of society that involves all the players that are in this space, right? So crypto economies is how economic systems are built in the crypto society. Crypto society is not bound by a location, it's not bound by anything, it's just the interactive players that are all involved in this process. Crypto economy deals with how you influence and drive behaviors of all participants in the crypto space and distribute the value that they created. We've talked about cryptocurrency. We've understood cryptocurrency. They are digital money that are permissionless, decentralized, and they do not need third party. We've really understood what economy is. Economy is the distribution of resources by a particular society. When you combine them together, it's very easy to see how crypto economy comes into place. Crypto economy is the understanding and the study of economic systems in the crypto society, economic systems and how value is being distributed through these crypto coins that are produced. Man versus Superman. I like to think about fiat currency as man and think about cryptocurrency as Superman, because in earnest there are lots of things that the fiat currency is restricted by that the economy is not restricted by. So man versus Superman, man versus Thanos, fiat versus crypto. They are both currencies, like we both know, and they both have market systems that are designed, but they are different in specific ways that I need you to understand and I want you to really grasp in this course. So, fiat economy, remember we talked about fiat economy. Fiat economy or fiat is any currency that has been approved by the government of a society. Fiat economy is quite interesting because it's location dependent, it's controlled by the central bank, like we mentioned before, and it is stabilized by the government. It's very highly regulated by the government. So the government of a country can wake up one day and decide, well, the naira is, we want the naira, we want 1 naira to be equal to this amount of dollars. Or we can say, for example, what's happening in Nigeria now, the our value of our money has been decreasing rapidly, and right now $1 is equal to about 1,300 naira, which is a lot and has rapidly increased in the past 5 months or so since this new government joined, right? So the government can wake up and create policies that would increase or inflate or deflate the money. They could decide to wake up and pump more money into the system, thereby ensuring that the money becomes less valuable. So it's different from the crypto economy where prices are volatile because they are set by market forces and trading. Market forces can be, say, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Market forces can be trends that cause it. And then traders too. If a lot of people are trading 1 naira to $1 at 1,300, it's going to remain that way. Basically, the people create the market here. It's controlled by the market forces and the ecosystem, and really it's accessible anywhere. It's not bound by location or it's not bound by anything of the sort. But remember that these are still currencies and these are still economies. They both require people's participation. These two types of economies these two types of economies have currencies that are storage of value, and they have prices and they have monetary value too. So these are things that you have to remember, right? The most important thing between a fiat economy and a crypto economy is that a fiat economy is usually centralized and controlled by a central bank, while a crypto economy is decentralized and controlled by market forces. A fiat economy is location dependent. For example, you'll find out very easily that the minute you leave Nigeria, a lot of our money becomes invaluable or becomes less valuable, right? Crypto economy is not that way. It's not bound by the location or geography, and it's accessible by anybody. So this has been a quite interesting class. It's been the very beginner course on economies, money, trade, and how it all works. So this model we talked about core economic concepts. Remember that I explained told you to reach yourself. We'll go back to them again after this. We talked about trade and how economics of country worked. We also discussed why cryptocurrency was important to be created. We discussed about crypto economies and how crypto economies differ from fiat economy, and when we discussed about both economies and how different they are. So let's go back to understanding the core concept. Now, do you understand this concept as much as you did before you started the course? Is this something you have good knowledge about right now? So let's start with money. Let's start with money. Money is a symbol of value. Remember, we talked about how different things were used as money. So, money was not supposed to be stagnant. The form of money was not supposed to be stagnant. It was meant to be transitionary, and it has always been transitionary. At first, we were using agricultural produce as a way of evaluating value, right? And then we quickly moved to calories, and then we moved to gold, and then certificate of ownership, and now fiat. So it's very easy to see that money was going to, evolve into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency eventually. Money is a store of value. Money is a representation of some sort of value, right? Something that someone has value. Remember the story we talked about with people in the bank who had to have or hold a certificate of ownership, and whenever they went to the bank, all they had to do was show that certificate of ownership. In 20, it's present day reality in 21st century, the dollars we have is just a show of the certificate of value. It shows that, oh yes, I have made something valuable, and in exchange for whatever valuable thing that I've made, I've been given this money that I can use to also exchange for something valuable in return. Money just shows the quantity of value that we have been able to get, and the quantity of value that we can be able to give to people. Cryptocurrencies are digital money that are permissionless, decentralized, and do not need third parties for them to operate. Cryptocurrency is some sort of like the sixth level of money evolution that allows different economies to operate without the need of a central bank, without the need of a third party in there. Economics is the understanding and distribution of value and resources. Now that I have made money as a country, now that I have had crude oil as a country, how do I distribute my crude in such a way that I have more value? How do I distribute my resources in such a way that my countries flourishes, my people flourish? That is what is called economy. And each society is ruled by its own economics and how it operates. Blockchain is the technology that makes cryptocurrency works, is the underlying foundation of what makes cryptocurrency run and how it operates. Now, market is a very interesting one because if you think about market, it's a very easy word. It's something that we know or we've heard a lot of times. I'm going to the market, I'm coming back from the market. But when you try to understand the market or try to, you know, give the definition of a market, you see that it's just beyond just a place where you go to buy things. So the market is the interaction, right? It can be a physical market like your store or your supermarket. It could also be a digital market. But market is the interaction between all players in a trade. It's a place where it's anywhere where trade happens, right? So you hear something like the stock exchange market. It's a market because trade is happening and value is being exchanged between one person or the other. That is why it's called a market. So a market is any form of interaction between players where value is exchanged and trade occurs. Take action. Now that you've learned a lot from this course, it's time for you to put what you've learned in practice. And we're going to go with a very simple assignment that you can go with. You could choose any of these, you could choose one, or you could do two if you're up to it. So, our first question or first assignment is choose an economy of your choice. Choose a country of your choice. It could be your own country, it could be any country you like, a typical fiat economy, right? And research about this market, research about this incentive, how it operates, think about how it makes trade to occur. Think about how it generates resources, how resources is managed in that economy, and how it is distributed in that economy. The second task is El Salvador recently adopted Bitcoin as its national currency. Now, how do you think this has affected the economy? So you could do a pre and post analysis of El Salvador's economy, after this new monetary policy. Remember that Bitcoin allows for, permissionless and global transactions. So this is supposed to like open the door for more trades to happen between El Salvador and other countries. This monetary policy, do a deep study on it and see if it has impacted or benefited their economy in any way. You can reach out to me via in any place you want, but these are some other resources that you could read on to really understand token economy, token jargons, and every other things. You could also check me on Hashnode, wildflower.hashnodes.dev. You're going to see a whole lot of resources that I've written about crypto economics. If you have any questions, don't forget to send them to me. You can send them to me via mail. You can reach out to me on Twitter or on Discord. I bear the same name. Also on NftyDreams, the where you got this course from. You can easily interact with other students there, share your questions, share your assignments as well there, and update it. I'm going to be seeing you in the next course. Till then, have a wonderful day. Thank you.